Do you ever wonder why change is uncomfortable and why a lot of people don't take a path of growth? Well, let me explain this to you. We are creatures of habit, and the more we continue a habit, that habit becomes our identity. And our identity is how we present ourselves to the world. Our identity is like our headquarters to how we perceive the world. So when one decides to grow, we are challenging our identity and we are changing our habits. And at some point we shed that old identity. But before we form a new identity and get comfortable with our new habits, we are stuck in this zone of uncomfortability because we don't have an identity at that point. And we can't feel like us if we don't have an identity. But to hack that, your identity can be that you grow and that you constantly change. And grow, change without feeling uncomfortable.
Never spend time allowing your past mistakes, failures, disappointments, or rejections to hold you back from making progress to be successful.
See where this tree's been cut? I'm sure it was very painful for that tree. But look at the new growth that came from it. It's just like us. If we realize that things aren't to be judged as good or bad, even if they are painful, and allow them to turn themselves into growth and understand that life only wants the best for us, we'll flourish. We'll grow. We won't worry so much. So we have to try to be more like the tree.
I want to change your perception for the next minute to help you look at your trials a little differently. So for the next minute or so, I need for you to look at me as though I'm your enemy. Look at me as though I'm totally against you and I am the representation of the enemy that comes against you. Now, if I were your enemy, I would do every single thing I could possibly do to help you feel that you would never achieve your goals and your dreams in life. But I wouldn't stop there. I would also do everything that I could to make sure that you always feel behind schedule. I would manipulate situations in your life so that you always feel like I'm not doing what I need to be doing. I'm off task. I'm behind schedule. Everyone else is ahead of me. Then I actually wouldn't stop there. I would do my best to change your perception so that you don't see opportunities, but instead you see problems. So I would do something to make sure you don't see the opportunities in front of you. I'd want you to just feel that there's always problems and issues that are always coming your way. Does that make sense? Now, I would also try to create a lot of havoc in your relationship, any relationships you have. And I would try to create discord amongst your close family members because I don't want there to be any unity. Unity is not a good thing. So I would do that to keep you off task. Does that make sense? The other things that I would do, let me just think about this a moment. I would do everything that I could do to come against your finances. Every which way, and anytime you check your bank account, I'd want you to see that there's a depletion, that there's always some unexpected expense or something coming up, keeping you away from being able to do what you need to do. Does that make sense? I would also do some things to try to get you to doubt your abilities because I'd want you to doubt the very talents that God has given you. I want you to feel that I'm not sure if I have the skills or the abilities to even do this. The premise of what I'm trying to get at is I would do everything I could do to keep you from looking in the mirror and realizing who you are. And the closer you get to realizing who you are, the closer you get to that breakthrough, I would try harder and harder and harder to distract you and to discourage you and to stop you. I wish you realized how much greatness is inside of you. I wish you realized that you are the real threat to the enemy because the enemy wants to keep you from having that greatness pour out of you. I pray that you change your perception. And I pray that the next time you view your situations that you say to yourself, wait a minute, wait. This is not a setback. This is a confirmation. There is greatness inside of me. I love you all. I pray that you are encouraged. This is Z with Unlocking Greatness Podcast.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Shit People Tell You to Do, but don't tell you how to do it. Today's topic is being yourself. Y'all, when I tell you, when people used to tell me, just be yourself, like anxiety, shame, just what the does that mean? It's okay. I got you. First, this is how I used to mess this up. I would think when somebody said be yourself, that meant be some sort of other version of me, right? Like I would go back in my past and be like, okay, you know, I used to do this and I did this, and try to create this sort of aggregate of all my personalities and be like, okay, well, that must be some version of me. But when you do that, it's disconnected completely from the present moment. And you're essentially doing something that one of my mentors likes to call bringing day old bread and presenting it as new. What it really means to be yourself is to be off yourself, not constantly self-conscious and checking in and worrying about like, oh, am I good enough? Am I enough? Start moving into spaces with curiosity, going to see and not be seen. In addition to not being hyper reactive to your thoughts, emotions, and like other people, realizing that your thoughts are like clouds passing in front of the blue sky. You are that blue sky. When you start responding as that blue sky instead of reacting to fight a thought or fight an emotion or whatever is coming up, what naturally arises is yourself. And there's no doing in that. But this also requires you to trust that you're enough. I promise you, when you're off yourself and you're more curious and open, what shows up is probably going to be some version of all those old personalities. But you're no longer a slave to them or your idea of what they were. You're just being yourself.
Here's 3 positions to meditate in that are comfortable and won't compromise your spine. So here we have the first one. My knees are engaged. I'm sitting on my feet. My feet are flat, facing to the ceiling. My spine is straight. And if you notice, a lot of children will sit like this when they play or just when they sit on the ground because it's comfortable and it won't compromise your spine. The second one, we just have a simple squat here. My knees are engaged again, feet flat on the floor. My spine, again, is not being compromised by the way I'm sitting. So it's very comfortable. Again, you'll see a lot of kids sit this way. Very comfortable, easy to play. Now this last one here, very simple. Just all fours on the floor. You want to put your third eye here straight into the ground. And you want to have your hands flat on the ground. And you just sit here. Very comfortable, very easy to do. 3 positions.